one is to recognize the good from the divine in them, even as I recognize the good from the divine in myself. So I therefore greet each and every one of you in the words spoken by different masters, different times, different languages, different cultures, simply and powerfully as I am.
I am.
I'm going to say do it to the I am vibration. Do it to the cycle to Huta Ampu's son. I want you to be in here with me, my man.
For real.
And do it to the cosmic forces. Do it to the Neteru. Do it to the Risha. And do it to each and every one of you. Ashe.
Ashe.
Well, here I am. Here I am.
Here?
And
She's good.
man, I dreamed about that. That's the benevolence part. Wow. Whoa. The title of this journal is The Truth of the Battle of Armageddon. And I want to say Ahim Prima, Ahim Prima, Ahim Prima. That's divine love. My intention is to deliver this with divine love. Ashe. Well, the title implies that an untruth has been stated. Oftentimes, the narrative has been through the vehicles of media, the dogma of religion, that there will be a day of judgment in the end of times. This judgment will be determined by someone other than you. The Western European religious exploitation of the Bible is shrouded in allegories, contradictions, falsehoods, false positives, hypocrisy, ignorance, stupidity, metaphors, superstitions, and no upgrades, and tradition that have created an atmosphere and a narrative of comparison and judgment. Although it says judge not, that should be judged. Hypocrisy. The term Armageddon has often been used by Protestant fundamentalists to refer to an impending cataclysmic struggle between the forces of evil and good. This is untrue. This is very misleading and distracted. These keeps out one's thoughts subconsciously in judgment. This is deception of perception and captures and enslaves one's thoughts and processes. The Bible, or as we affectionately call it, the ancient text, is one of the greatest books, in my opinion, on the mind, but is not perceived as such due to the deception of perception. Let's start with the good and bad, or let's say good and evil. These are grafted terms. The universe only sees function and dysfunction, period. Because my good could be your bad, my bad could be your good. So it's relative terms, right? So what is consistent across galaxies, planetary systems, and the universe is the struggle between consciousness and ego. That's it. All beings are giving or ungiving, loving or unloving. And these are the variables of the substratum of all conflict. What is consistent across the galaxies, planetary systems, and universe is the struggle between consciousness and the ego, function and dysfunction. There are two natures at war within the architecture of the human mental system. These two natures represent a gravitational pull towards two distinct philosophies. Human beings refer to them as the first nature and the second nature. We do not want to confuse the social fantasy description of the two natures with that of bio-vibrational science. In the social fantasy, the first nature is never really mentioned. And the second nature refers to a muscle memory type response in which a person automatically responds out of a pre-programmed mental construct or your reticular activating system. And basically what all that really says to me is that my filter, because we get so much information all the time, but we have learned to filter out certain things that don't belong to us, that we're not comfortable with. So that's a breakdown of what the reticular activating system is, in my opinion. In bioracial science, the nature refers to a set of characteristics. Your first nature refers to a set of characteristics you possess as part of the unified energy field prior to your matriculation into matter or materiality or physicality. And what happens here is that this is where when the ancient text says, before I formed you in the womb I knew you, so go back to the before. So you were something, you had an experience before form. That's not talked about. These characteristics, to a large degree, describe the various attributes of the names of I am, and the eternal positive and their eternal and positive empowerment. You be like you're kind, you're considerate, you're sweet, you're adorable, things of that nature, right? In the second nature, however, it's composed of the characteristics that you attain through your conscious mind sojourn, observation, interaction, and response to a social fantasy. This is the primary perception of life, of this life experience given to us by the social fantasy or the world system. A lot of times we'll take a situation that has happened and it's out, and so we'll take that and we'll categorize that. We'll put that in the mind. And then we'll see something that's similar to that, and we'll go back to that old categorization to bring that back to this categorization. And so now you're locked in the past, not really moving forward. Our perception of God is probably called and described as I am. So, and I am, which is the collective consciousness of positive and beneficent vibrational forces of the universe, the microcosm parent of the human psyche, connected to us through electromagnetism, spirit, or energy. This means that its substance and nature is the progenitor of our consciousness or our awareness, meaning that we are never separated from I am. And so when I said the psyche is also the soul. Psyche, each system each system, including the I am, has a common architecture composed of ego, internal consciousness, and mind, which sits in the seat of judgment. The ego is a self-serving mechanism that suggests to the mind that the survival and pleasure of the system through sensory perception is the optimal way to live. The ego seeks to control and manipulate perceptions, feelings of identity, and continuity of human thought. Like the I am, the ego has both a macro and a micro universal representation. It too has been called by many names, including Satan, Iblis, and the devil, among others. The ego needs the material world and its lower vibrational vices to be sustained in order for its suggestions to humans to remain relevant. Human beings living in the lower vibrations and falling into negative emotions allow egoic humans and social systems to feed and sustain their energetic existence. The ego's goal should be only to remind the psyche of the actions it should take as a process level specific to multiplication. However, the ego wants more and seeks to inevitably control the system under which it operates. As a result, the I am has distanced itself from the ego in order to purify its state when the ego attempted to have dominion over the I am vibration. Human beings should do the same. The internal consciousness is a dispensation of I am vibration, communicating, revealing, and suggesting the laws and principles of I am. I like to say that internal consciousness, pretty much, in my opinion, is a piece of God. that we have in us that we have to tap into. Now the mind has three components as well. They consist of the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, or awakened mind, and the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, which produces the reality, and is a recorder that never shuts off. The unconscious mind becomes the awakened mind. Once activated, is a storehouse of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And it's significant that when we talk about, I like to talk about the subconscious mind because it works on feeling. It doesn't necessarily, it's not analytical. And by that I mean, it doesn't drop down and start doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't do that. It only works on how you feel. And oftentimes when we come into this world, we come into an environment sometimes thinking that, why am I even in this family? Man, I'm so different. Or we're so different. And usually what happens is that we have forgotten that we chose to come here.
That's right.
And when you know that you chose to come here, it says, that God has a purpose for our life, gives a power, dominion, and a sound mind. So we have to tap back into that, but society ain't telling you that.
Right.
It's telling you all the other things, to sustain itself, and it's always distracting you. That's one of the things I want to talk about too, right quick, is that when I was in school, junior high school, they had this reading chart. And what it was is that they tested you how fast you could read, right? And so at the end of the day, this was, I was in 6th grade, 7th grade, what I came away with, what the teacher said is that you're programmed to read a certain way based on what you see. Right. At that particular time, they was talking about television and that there was scene changes every 7 seconds. Wow. Nowadays, that ain't the case. It's second by second because you scrolling, you constantly want to be stimulated. You know what I mean? So that's a distraction in and of itself. And I think about when you said leisure, we are many. To me, that's all this social media is out there. You know what I mean? You can watch this, you can watch. I hear you. I watch it on myself. I'm talking about it in a minute. But it's those things like that we have to, like the apostle was talking about. We have to become in that transcendental space where we have a certain peace and we have a certain focus, not to be pulled in. Because it's easy to be pulled in, man. It's easy to be pulled in. The conscious mind is the aspect of the intellect that goes out to observe interpersonal relationships among forces in an effort to gather intelligence for the use of multiplying the system. Now, my breakdown of the conscious mind is like this. It's the eyeballs. Real simple, right? So what I see, if I see it, then I'm gonna make it. I'm going in my mind and I'm making a decision. I'm making a determination. I'm doing it, having a decision and emotion behind what I saw with the eyeball. Not necessarily having it, to like he said, get into that transcendental space and see now what is this trying to tell me. And one of the things that science has taught me is that this person or the individual, the experience or the situation is not the subject. Move that out of the way, see what's behind it, and that's how you do, a proper analysis on how to feel, Okay, now the conscious mind feeds the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, in turn, manufactures your reality. The conscious mind of the human psyche is the initial decision maker of whether human beings will choose the I am vibration. Because, like I was saying, if you are feeling like you're always being picked on, or you feel like you're always the victim, and you haven't done the analysis on that, then even though you say like, I really don't want, I don't want to be victimized, I don't want to be picked on all the time, but that's what you're saying with your mouth. But that's not what you're feeling. So subconscious mind, like they don't come down and say, you know what, let me give you a break. They don't do that. It's going to give you what you feel. So with that being said, you will be a divine victim. Because you didn't remove that. It's not a respected person, what I'm trying to say. So I want to give some definition, like I said, the perception of deception. So we in the science, we view heaven correctly, viewed as the I am vibration, a mental space beyond material reasoning, attainable through adherence to the principles and laws of I am, with positive expectation of the promise of I am. This way of life includes adherence to the 5 disciplines of biovibrational science. This way leads a life to divine mind, which is to continually live in the I am vibration. And one thing I wanted to say about, because most people say heaven's up there, hell down there. Let me tell you this here. I've been at the post office 41 years. Ain't never seen a zip code for heaven or hell.
Okay. Thank you.
So it ain't there. What I'm saying, it's a mental state. It's a mental state.
Yes.
That's good.
It's not a terrestrial situation, because you
Thank
could be in here in this process right now, and the way this capitalist society is set up, you ain't got no money. You straight in hell. That's my opinion.
That's right.
Hell is a mental space of persons trapped into the suffering created by egotistic thinking or material reasoning. And this situation is apparent because we don't know how to pull back from the material reasoning part. We only look at what's being done and not the force behind what's being done. And that's what we carry on, this perpetual state of hell. And now, and the religious community talks about salvation, but the way we describe salvation is this way. Salvation is the elevation beyond the imprisoning and limiting effects of material reason through divine mind, which yields peace, harmony, balance, connection, wealth, and access in all dimensions. Okay, now the Self-Empowerment Center is not a traditional church, in this sense that we do not share in the prejudices associated with religion. We are considered a universal church of truth. We have 5 pillars that we base our faith on. The first pillar is the examination of all scripture without prejudice as possible tools for energetic development. The second pillar, the necessity of a master teacher and divine examples to point out the path of success and failure. The third pillar, the formation of a support group to aid in that practice. The fourth pillar, the importance of adhering to a code of ethics and a value system. What I found out most times is that people that you think you have a code of ethics, especially in the clergy, don't have one. They miss it. They miss it big time. They sinning, right? They're missing the mark now. The fifth pillar, the practice of meditation to aid in proper energetic development. And that's one of our chief practices here in the system. That's right.
Same thing.
It's a system. That's right. Thank you. Okay. Now, also there has been an illusion of confusion. And first of all, I used to hear back in the day my mom would always say, "Well, there was only one perfect man. There was only one perfect man that ever walked the earth and all that." But we know that perfection is an illusion.
That's right.
It don't exist. You just chasing your tail, basically. You know what I'm saying? And now, so what has been called mystery was never mystery, and what was called magic was never magic. These words have been used by those who have no knowledge of the nature, the substance, and power of the divine source and supernatural power, which is I am.
Yes.
For what was mysterious, magical, and ghostly to them is your natural glory and power. Yet, because they could not attain it, they hid it from you and wrote your history in a way that led you astray. The mind does not reside in the biological system, nor is the brain, which is subservient to the social condition. And I mean, this messes a lot of people up, this part right here, because I can tell you to put your hands around your head and you can grab your brain. You can hold on to it, but you can't find your mind.
Nope. That's good.
You can't find your mind.
That's good.
That's above the terrestrial plane. The mind does not reside in the biological system once again. The mind is an everlasting seat of judgment wherein we choose our emotional, philosophical, and perpetual perceptual state of reality. And reality occurs separate from experience. Reality is the dominant thought resident in the mind. So, if I look at my checking account and it's in the negative, or I look at whatever and it doesn't show me what I want to see, that don't mean nothing to me.
Thank you.
Don't mean nothing to me. Because that's an experience. That's not my reality.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I'm a baller. No, I'm just like that. You know what I mean? So, and the thing about that is that, and the reason I can say that confidently is because I've used these practices to, and I like what Cat Williams said. I mean, this dude is deep, you know.
Yes, he is.
And one of the things he said, and it goes back to when he was doing an interview, and I caught this. I don't think many people caught it. Because I think his father had asked him when he was 13, what do you want to be? And his father, I think, was in the ministry or something like that, and he said he wanted to be God's friend.
Yes.
And his father said, that's not it. That's not it. But based on these teachings, what I can truly say is God is my best friend.
Yes.
I am my best friend. And we roll like that.
That's right.
We spend time together.
Yeah.
A lot of time together. So what I want to say here is that this is coming from the emanations, the 18 emanation. And the reason is this. Religions arise when awareness of I am is lost. Wisdom and intelligence become necessary in the wake of great ignorance and stupidity. Insincere hustle is born when the word of people is not their bond. After these things, a country becomes confused and poverty appears. Not many days hence, hypocritical ministers shall be born. Right on to the right on. When you look at the ancient text and it talks about the garden and the two trees, this is a metaphor speaking about the left and right hemispheres of the brain, the intellectual side and the emotional side. The intellect has fallen asleep, it's unconscious, and the emotional side is awake. With these two dynamics in play, chaos ensues. This is the energetic imprint of the world at large, in my opinion, or the social fantasy. Today, the trees are philosophies or either natures, right? So which philosophy or nature would the mind choose? This is a moment-by-moment process
Yes, it
of
is.
emotions and decisions, from the tree of life or the tree of duality, fragmentation, separation, civil law, or merit. Or will your 12 tribes of mind or your mental cognitions betray us, or will they be on one accord, having all things in common? This is happening at a nanosecond, faster than it can be explained. The self-empowerment through the science of I am and the master teachers, the Jaya and the Charter, explain these truths and make them plain to understand. but if you have the will to listen and the ear to hear. The science of I am offers the proper tools needed to architecturally design our divine mind. Therefore, to have dominion over life and materiality, divine mind is viewed multi-perceptional. It is a carpenter, a builder, an architect. To show us the blueprint of divine mind by divine example and energetic imprint. If you are looking for more answers and concerns, or simply wanting to increase your awareness, consciousness, or spirituality, there's a formula to increase the connection with I am and staying in the I am vibration. One of the basics is gratitude, followed by positivity. You know, I look, and that's a very key element in your awareness. Because if I looked at my life and I looked at the things that happened in my life and all the things I may have thought I lost or didn't go right in my life, then I am can bless me. I am not when you come down to that, because it inhabits the praises of its people. That's positivity. So I have learned in every situation from the career, I'm always grateful, whatever go down, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna find that silver lining somewhere and learn from that, build from that, and share with that. I am. So, like I said, there's a formula, and that formula is the 5 disciplines. Now, I want to talk about the 5 disciplines, and particularly, I think it's going to be physical arts. And the reason why I say that is because, in my opinion, that's one of the most difficult tasks to do. You know what I mean? Because before I even came to the science, I could hear, in my mind, you need to work hard. You need to work hard. I listened to that for 5 years. 5 years. Wait a minute, hold on. I bought the stuff. I bought the bitch. I bought the equipment. I bought the weight. I just didn't do it. I did not do it. But one of the things I want to say too is that when I came into the science, that was in 2014. That was 10 years ago. And so I knew that I had to start working out, and the science offered that, right? And we were working out, and I thought about it from this standpoint, and like I said, my best friend, right? So the way I process this is this. I don't live at a zip code. This is where I live, right here. Right here. This is my house. So with that being said, also, if my friend gave me a gift, this right here, my house, I'm going to take care of the gift that my friend gave to me. Wow. It's not going to be dilapidated. It's not going to be broken down. And when it's not going to be broken out, the door's going to work properly. You know what I'm saying? So what I did was, I said, you know what? So what I started doing is that, I started saying that I looked at life, I looked at just my genealogy on my side and my father's side, they never really looked at age, right? So I said, well, damn, if I start working out and I got longevity on my side already, because my grandfather's sister, she lived to be 106. My grandfather was 98. So it's longevity in that. And the body is a self-healing mechanism. So if I put the proper things in it and I work it the right way, it'll last till I get ready for it to go.
Thank you.
And that's my philosophy, that's my thinking. So what I do is that I make sure, like you was talking about before, like I don't care about, because sometimes, I can't get my workout in at home. But what I do, I go to work, they got these big old cardboard boxes, I put them down, I start getting with it. You know what I mean? And I used to care about that. Now I don't care about that. Because I know what I'm doing, and I know what the relationship that I'm having with my friend. I'm taking care of that. And another thing too is that I went to a multi-purpose center the other day, and I registered to go there. Cause my mom had told me about she was gonna go there too, so I figured, let me go ahead and get started there, cause I want, my mom to start, exercising, going out of that, so I'll be there first, right? So I went there and talked to the administrator of there, and she said, this program is for people that are 60 plus. I said, I'm 60 plus. So she was like, she was bamboozled, you know what I mean? She was like, believe that, you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that, no, we live in a capitalistic society, right? By that I mean they're always selling something. And one of the things that I looked at too was that society at large sells that when you get a certain age, you're gonna be on a cane,
Come on.
you're gonna be on a walker,
Yes.
or you're gonna be on one of them scooters.
Right. Say it.
And that's not gonna be me. They may be selling that, but I ain't buying it.
There you go.
I ain't buying that. And I'm making it my business to make sure to let others know that age is just a number.
It's just a number.
That's right.
That's all it is, you know what I mean? And another thing too is that I saw, like I said, I've been in my company now for 41 years. And and I just, I was observing certain things, I can remember when certain people started there, right? They walking like this. Now they walking like this.
Wow.
And that don't make no sense to me, it really don't, because what they have done is bought into the social conditioning of the society that we live in. Because at the end of the day, they're hoping that you don't retire and get your money. Or something to that effect. I don't know.
Wow.
But what I'm saying is that this science teaches us how to live like that. And also, as far as the eating part. Now, I've never really been, food ain't my thing, but it is what it is, right? But, I already know. But what I'm saying is that I do remember this though, and this is, it brought me back because, like when I was in my 30s and 40s, I had a whole lot of gut issues. And I was on a lot of different medications, and I was on Prevacid. I was on Effexor, for, anxiety, this, that, and the other. But once I did get sick, and my appendix had ruptured, and that's based on a whole lot of stress, right? Because the stress going somewhere, and it went inside and it ruptured that. But one of the things that I made a vow to is that I started to say, well, when I was in the hospital, almost a month, and I almost died 3 different times, which there's no such thing as death anyway, right? So anyway.
Yeah.
The thing that I came away with is that the medical community at large, in my opinion, don't care about you.
Sure do.
Because I told my ex-wife at the time, I said, you know what? If they had to kill me, you know what they had said? Next.
That's right.
So I took it upon myself, to start eating better and things of that nature. And the one thing that I did eat there that made me feel tremendously better was a salad, a green salad. And since that, I've been doing that, So what I'm saying is that when, like he was talking about, when you eat, that should be an elimination as well. That's also good nutrition. It don't sound right, but at the same time, it's right. You know what I mean? So these are things like this, and so many people I see, they're just locked into tradition, locked into. You got to have an oxtail. I got to, and I ain't never seen an ox anyway. But anyway.
Right.
What I'm saying is that they locked into that kind of stuff. The pork chops and all that. I get you, but you have to become, I feel like, intelligent about your own health and your own well-being, because at the end of the day, it's going to be you. Like my grandfather said a long time ago, he says, you've been with that body longer than anybody.
That's right.
You ought to know about it more than taking somewhere else and let them talk about it, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
anyway, that's just...
That's good.
But I think about, those types of things like that. And like I said, that's just part of that's some of the 5 disciplines and the 5 freedoms, the 8-fold path, the 7 principles of communalism, the 4 breaths, the 3 jewels, and the vow of positivity, and the eating vow to live. Now I want to go back to 2 of these. The vow of positivity. When I first heard that 10 years ago, man, that floored me. The vow of positivity. And one of the things I looked at that and says that I would not be a burden to society, my family, my community. I'm like, whoa, hold up, that's me too. Cause my grandfather used to tell me too. He say, I don't want to be that flat tire you got the air up every morning rolling down the road. You know? I got you. I got you. I don't either. I ain't. I'm not. But I mean, and it was things like that, you know what I mean, and to have that positivity, because I mean, I run into so many, not so many people, but I run into people that I'm trying to wake them up, or attempting to wake them up, you know, because they want to complain about this and complain about that, you know, and on my job, I'm like, oh, no. I say, but if you hate this place, why you coming here?
There you go.
And secondly, if you hate what's feeding you, what does that really say?
Yeah.
You blessing what's cursing. I mean, you cursing what's blessing you. Big stuff like that. So they're starting to see it. And also the eightfold path. And now the eightfold path, you got your social observers, and you got your niyamas, and you got your internal. Now I tell you, like, when you do these processes, one of the things I say, you know, that when you start really discovering yourself, it's a beautiful thing. But it ain't always pretty.
No, it ain't.
It ain't always pretty, because you're gonna have to let go of some things that you was holding on to.
Right.
And that's gonna be difficult, but at the end of the day, we have to release. We have to release the programming, we have to release the conditioning that we have, and to turn on a new program. Get into this system. And like I say, everything is a system. And once you can, I think it's in the book somewhere, it says that small changes in input could have large changes in output. So just by me eating the deal, me working out, me taking that mirror and telling myself that I love myself. You know, when I first did that, man, it was a trip, because I couldn't even look at myself. And a lot of people can't.
That's right.
A lot of people, I'm telling them, oh no, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, oh no. And one of the things, when I first started, you know, man, I might be looking at myself, oh man, where that gray hair come from? I got to get, you know, I don't do that no more. But I tell myself, I love myself, I adore myself, I accept myself, and on down the line. And because we don't give that enough, you know, and we have to give ourselves self-care, because whatever is going on the inside is going to be reflected on the outside. So you're going to draw that to you. So the science gives us an opportunity to understand ourselves, to understand ourselves, to understand ourselves. So I want to close, and I want to say this. What the science says, we have come to guide you into all truth. The science I am, that you may recognize your true identity as one with us. Our mission and yours, if you accept it, is to expand and multiply the mindfulness, the energetic imprint of your students, thereby optimizing every facet of their life, including interpersonal relationships, financial engineering, and emotional intelligence. We welcome all people of our faith, background, and preferences of intimacy to participate and become students of the science of I am. And I want to close with that. And I want to say also is that we have to be mindful of the energies that we come into contact with. And what, and I'm saying this to say this, is that we got supposedly Black History Month coming up next month. Now, with me, thank you, every day. And how can you give 1 month to talk about, as the chart says, the crayon? Now you're in the crayon box. So that ain't cool, you know what I mean? But you can take that energy and transmute that energy into something that's going to be powerful and meaningful to you. Because you got to start looking at everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. And also, and I want to talk about the spiritual technologies. You have to wear your bracelets. You have to wear your amulets. You have to use the sprays the Divine Mother had. Yeah, let me show you something. I got that. Man, I walk around with this stuff all the time. All the time. You hear that? Some of my rocks, man. All of that. And this is real because what it does, it heightens your vibration. So I want to say is that come to the science and really, really put the practices to work, and they will work in your life. Ashe.
Ashe.
Amen.
Amen.
I am.
I am.
Thank you for listening.